there. I can provide no eyewitness account. And even though I got love and respect for Shannon Sharpe, and I'm sincerely hopeful and prayerful that he is completely innocent of the allegations that have been levied against him, I can't sit here and speak to his innocence or guilt from a knowledgeable place because I have nothing to do with this. I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything. I don't even know this person. I know what the reports say. I know the reports, the things that have been reported on a multitude of outlets, from the AP to the New York Post to Forbes to TMZ and everything in between. I mean, I can't even count the number of publications that have talked about it or written about it, networks, etc. It's all over the internet.
The internet is watching Shannon Sharpe crumble in real time, and Stephen A. Smith, he's not holding back one bit. He straight up clowned Shannon on national TV, spilling the tea on what really went down behind the scenes at ESPN, and low-key hinting that Shannon's career might be sinking fast. The crazy part? Shannon pretty much set himself up for this disaster. A resurfaced clip of Stephen A. talking about the Shannon situation has been blowing up online, and the comments are wild. It's not just Stephen Sharpe's sarcasm, it's the way he made it crystal clear that he's not riding with Shannon, and in his eyes, Shannon's career might never bounce back after getting tangled in all these messy situations. Fans started asking, is Stephen trying to sabotage him? Does he know about some corporate drama at ESPN that we don't? Or is this just straight up jealousy? Well, the answers came fast, and what came out was a messy, shocking story about Shannon that had people's jaws on the floor. If you've been following Shannon's situation, you know he went from being the internet's cool uncle to the guy everybody's roasting thanks to multiple public scandals. But what most folks didn't know, after settling that high-profile lawsuit with model Gabrielle Zuniga, Shannon's pockets were reportedly empty and he was deep in debt. And who noticed first? Stephen A. Smith. And he let the whole world know. He went on air and spent a solid 20 minutes roasting Shannon for ending up in this mess. Sure, he tried to make it sound like he was defending him, but you could see the smirk in his tone. Fans swear it felt like he was secretly celebrating Shannon's downfall, and here's the twist. Just months before this, Shannon was on top of the game. After that explosive Cat Williams interview, his Club Shay Shay podcast became the most viewed on YouTube, and even the ESPN front office was buzzing about it. Back in April 2025, sports media was buzzing. Reports claimed Shannon Sharpe was about to sign a record-breaking $100 million deal for his podcast. That would have made him the undisputed king of athlete-driven media. Add in his ESPN checks and other business moves, and Shannon was basically untouchable, until it all came crashing down. That's when the lawsuit from model Gabrielle Zuniga hit like a bombshell. But here's the kicker. Stephen A. Smith allegedly knew about this lawsuit before the public even got wind of it. So when he made those slick comments on air, he wasn't just talking out of nowhere. He was speaking with insider knowledge. And with those facts in play, you could already see Shannon's ESPN future slipping away.
I'm not going to speak to one's innocence or one's guilt about something I have absolutely positively no knowledge of whatsoever. Do I believe that Shannon Sharpe is guilty of what he has been accused of? Absolutely not. That is my personal opinion. The brother that I've come to know, I don't believe with assault or anybody. And I'm going to state that emphatically. But just as emphatically, I'm going to remind everybody it is my opinion because of what I feel about him. Not in any way implying that I know a damn thing beyond.
Now here's where it gets wild. Gabrielle's opening demand was $50 million. Shannon brushed it off like it was a joke, calling it a money grab, and even threatening to take her and her attorney, Tony Busby, to court for extortion and defamation. In clips from that time, Shannon looked calm, confident, maybe even cocky about the whole thing. But then, things got darker. Audio recordings between Shannon and Gabrielle leaked online, and the internet went into a frenzy. In one clip, Shannon's tone was heated, and in another, Gabrielle's voice sounded tense, like she was genuinely scared. People didn't know what to make of it, but it had social media in meltdown mode. After those recordings surfaced, Stephen A. decided he was done holding back. And remember, these two have history. Stephen helped Shannon lock in his deal at Fox, and they'd been cool for years. That's why everyone assumed Stephen would have his back, or at least keep things neutral until court matters wrapped up. But instead, Stephen stunned the audience by going live and making it clear he wasn't convinced Shannon was completely innocent in all this. But Stephen A. didn't stop there. He straight up blamed Shannon for living reckless, saying he kept getting caught up in situations that could easily blow up his career. He even bragged that you'd never catch him playing the kind of games Shannon plays. Stephen didn't spill every detail, but everyone knew what he was hinting at: Shannon's string of high-profile flings that kept landing him in headlines. And then came the shocker. Reports dropped that Shannon had quietly agreed to settle Gabrielle's lawsuit out of court. This after months of boldly claiming he'd never give her a dime. The numbers were never confirmed, but insiders whispered that the final payout may have been very close to the $50 million she originally demanded. That settlement hit Shannon's pockets hard. Not only was he handing over tens of millions, but he was also drowning in legal bills. Then, to make things sting even more, Gabrielle popped up announcing she was retiring from her online platform career. She didn't mention the lawsuit, other alleged victims, or any emotional journey. Nothing. Just excitement about the next chapter. People couldn't help but side-eye that timing, wondering if she had played the long game and won big. It left fans asking two burning questions: and did she set him up? And if not, just how bad was the evidence for Shannon to go from threatening to sue her to cutting a massive check?
ESPN and Disney have a wait-and-see attitude when it comes to whatever evidence they may learn about this entire situation involving Shannon Sharpe from a legal and from a civil perspective. What they didn't need, as it pertains to those two things that I just mentioned, they didn't need any definitive evidence at this particular moment in time about all of that stuff. Once all the things Shannon Sharpe's lawyer put out there, it was uncomfortable to listen to, and it was not something that Walt Disney once associated with its brand. So to have him on the airwaves while all of that stuff was put out there was not something that Disney was going to take. That is what I mean when I say I am not surprised.
But here's the thing. This was only the start of Shannon's fall from grace. Soon after, more shadows from his past came creeping back. Old accusations resurfaced, including one from his ex, Michelle Evans, who had filed a similar case against him years ago, with claims dating back nearly a decade. Suddenly, people weren't just talking about one lawsuit, they were piecing together a pattern. And here's the latest twist. Michelle Evans is back with another lawsuit, this time hitting Shannon with a $16 million defamation claim. And from what's being said, she's holding receipts that could bury him completely. If she wins, Shannon's already battered finances could be in serious trouble. But it doesn't stop there. This is the same man who, not too long ago, was sports media's golden boy. Now, fans can't even stand to see him on screen. He's gone from someone folks would defend at all costs to someone many now side-eye and call shady. The sad part? People warned him this would happen if he didn't change his ways. Old clips from Shannon's Club Shay Shay podcast are suddenly going viral again, and fans are roasting him for ignoring all the red flags thrown his way. One clip that's got everyone talking features Monique, who looked him dead in the eye and told him that chasing after women young enough to be his daughters would only lead to trouble. Turns out, she was right. And then there's the infamous Cat Williams interview. While Monique kept it classy, Cat didn't hold back at all. He straight up told Shannon that no matter how big his name was, if he didn't smarten up, he'd get taken down. Like Kang the Conqueror.
My family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. And you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about.
The resurfacing of these old interviews has fans connecting the dots, saying Shannon's current money problems are tied directly to all the messy scandals he's been caught up in over the past few years. One TikTok creator even went off about it, breaking down how Shannon's downfall was practically predicted years ago. And the comment sections, filled with people reminding him of every single warning he ignored. Shannon, All of this might have been avoided if he had just listened to Kat and Monique. They were literally sitting beside him, dropping nothing but wisdom, and it was meant for him. Now everyone's asking the same thing. Could Shannon have stopped his career from spinning out of control, or was the whole thing a setup from the start? And just when it seemed like it couldn't get any worse, it did. Shannon got the dreaded email. ESPN was cutting him loose. Hosting First Take had been his biggest paycheck, but after word spread about that massive settlement, the ESPN higher-ups quietly decided they were done. No press release, no messy public firing, just a cold, short email saying they were moving forward without him. Insiders say Shannon was crushed. This wasn't just a job loss, and it was the ultimate signal that his credibility in sports media was gone. His reputation, wiped out, his bank accounts, deep in the red, but the hits kept coming. His podcast views tanked, sponsors went silent, his merch line stalled. There's even buzz that he's been trying to unload pieces of his real estate portfolio, including that Atlanta property he used to flex online. At this point, it looks like Shannon is throwing anything he can at the wall just hoping something will stick. Then came the petty twist. Stephen A. Smith unfollowed him on Instagram. The internet instantly caught on, and suddenly it was clear this wasn't just business. Stephen A. reportedly stopped picking up Shannon's calls, and that silence spoke volumes. To top it off, Club Shay Shay's YouTube numbers have been sliding ever since that viral Cat Williams interview. That one explosive episode became the bar, and now every new guest is compared to it, making it feel like Shannon's chasing ghosts. One YouTube comment nailed it. This might be the biggest fumble in sports media history.
What does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public.
But just when people thought Shannon had hit rock bottom, another twist dropped, and it had the internet losing it. Out of nowhere, rumors started flying that Shannon was in talks to rebrand himself by teaming up with a controversial influencer known for stirring online drama. The plan? A joint podcast where they'd say what others are scared to say. But instead of sparking excitement, the leaks had fans dragging him for being desperate and clout chasing. Screenshots allegedly showing Shannon's team reaching out to the influencer went viral overnight, and the replies were brutal. People were calling it a last-ditch stunt to stay relevant, with one viral post saying, "First take to first fake, Shannon's trying anything to get back in the headlines."
Called black women gold diggers. He told his own children, that he should be the last option that they are able to call whenever they need help. He didn't even want to pay for his own, I believe it was his daughter's wedding. He was a willing participant. He was a willing participant in every single thing that he did, and I don't feel sorry for him. The universe sent him signs. Cat Williams tried to warn him. He said it takes 2 weekends. Monique tried to warn him that him now, at the age of 57, shouldn't be messing with a girl that is, 36 years younger than him? And he didn't listen. And he kept it going. And now he has lost his entire football career, basically because him and that girl had to settle for $23 million. His whole football career, he only made 22. So she got his entire Hall of Fame football career within, plus $1 million, within just a few short months.
At the same time, whispers started spreading that Shannon had been shopping around a tell-all book deal, one that would spill details about his fall from grace, including his version of the lawsuits, behind-the-scenes beef at ESPN, and the real reason Stephen A. cut him off. Publishing insiders claimed the advance offer on the table was nowhere near enough to cover his debt, but Shannon was considering it anyway. And then came the photo that sent social media into a frenzy. Shannon spotted at a luxury car dealership in Miami, even though everyone knows his finances are in shambles. Some fans thought it was a sign he was bouncing back, but others believed he was putting on a front for the cameras, especially since reports say he's been quietly selling off assets left and right. Meanwhile, his inner circle is reportedly shrinking fast. Sources say people who were once his closest allies are keeping their distance, scared they'll get caught up in his mess. Even former guests from Club Shay Shay are allegedly avoiding being seen with him in public. And just when you think the situation couldn't possibly get more explosive, a fresh wave of old emails between Shannon and another high-profile figure are rumored to be on the verge of leaking. And if what's being whispered is true, this next drop could blow the whole story wide open. And then it happened. The emails dropped. And they were even messier than anyone imagined. Screenshots started spreading like wildfire, showing what looked like Shannon exchanging heated messages with a well-known sports executive. In the alleged messages, Shannon complained about being thrown to the wolves by ESPN and hinted that certain big names in sports media were plotting against him from the start. The internet lit up instantly. Some fans were quick to defend him, saying the emails proved he was set up, but others weren't buying it, pointing out how reckless it was for him to be putting all that in writing in the first place. One viral tweet said, "Shannon doesn't just burn bridges, he nukes them." It didn't take long before people started connecting dots between the emails and Stephen A. Smith's sudden cold shoulder. In one of the leaked exchanges, Shannon hinted that loyalty doesn't mean a thing to some folks once the money talks, and fans took that as a direct shot at Stephen. The drama went from a quiet simmer to a full boil overnight. Meanwhile, corporate insiders were allegedly scrambling to figure out if the leak could trigger more lawsuits, not just from Shannon's side, but from others named in those threads. And if that wasn't bad enough, whispers started about more private messages still sitting on someone's hard drive waiting to be dumped online for the highest bidder. Sponsors, even more spooked now. One major brand that had been considering a comeback deal with Shannon reportedly backed out within 24 hours of the leak. Podcast guests scheduled for upcoming episodes. Some quietly pulled out, leaving his production team scrambling to fill the calendar. And here's the part that really set fans off. While all of this was blowing up, Shannon went live on Instagram, not to address the emails, not to calm the storm, but to post a clip of himself working out in the gym, smiling like nothing was wrong. The comments were brutal, with people saying he was pretending the ship isn't sinking while standing in the water.
We gift you in this manner.
Shannon finally broke his silence, and he did it in a nightcap video that blew up instantly. In the clip, he talked used to be. He was respected. He was the OG voice of reason in sports talk, the man who would tell it straight and command the room. Now, he's the punch